Please subscribe to the channel for latest entertainment news. Press the bell icon on YouTube and never miss another update from Lights Camera Life.
2019 is on its way, and with that a lot of interesting movie sequels are coming to break the box office records. Today Lights Camera Life will be discussing about the most anticipated sequels of 2019 that everyone should watch. Let's begin. The first one is M. Night Shyamalan movie Glass. The third and the final installment to the Unbreakable franchise, also known as the East Rail 177 trilogy following Unbreakable and Split. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson will be reprising their Unbreakable roles, while James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy will be returning as their Split characters, with Sarah Paulson joining the cast. The film is set to be released on January 18, 2019. Everything is less than awesome in Bricksburg 5 years after the events of the first Lego movie, and they're only set to get worse when some very marketable space invaders come to town. Here comes the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, starring Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, Channing Tatum, Will Arnett, and Tiffany Haddish. The film is set to be released on February 8, 2019. The X-Men franchise hit something of a speed bump with 2016's X-Men, Apocalypse, but the 2019's X-Men, Dark Phoenix looks to rebound with one of the most popular stories from the comics, centered on the character of Jean Grey, played by Sophie Turner. Producer Simon Kinberg makes his directorial debut, while James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and the rest of the younger mutants return for this fourth entry in the soft rebooted series that began with X-Men, First Class. The film is set to be released on February 14, 2019. Jay Baruchel, America Ferrera, Craig Ferguson, and Gerard Butler return for the third and final chapter of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, which finds Hiccup leading the village of Berk. When Hiccup's dragon Toothless encounters a potential mate and a new threat bears down on Berk, however, the two of them embark on a journey to magical hidden world in order to save their way of life. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World is set to be released on March 1, 2019. The fourth Avengers movie promises to bring resolution to the conflict between Earth's mightiest heroes and Thanos, the Mad Titan, which began in this year's Infinity War. At this moment there is no information about what will happen in the film, but the upcoming Captain Marvel movie will likely provide some clues, and considering this will mark the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 3, we'll probably end up saying goodbye to a few more characters in this movie. The film is set to be released on May 3, 2019. At the end of John Wick, Chapter 2, Keanu Reeves' character went on the run after he broke the rules and murdered a high-level crime lord on the grounds of the Continental. The third installment to the franchise, John Wick 3, Parabellum, picks up right where that one left off, as John must survive the bounty on his head without the aid of the larger criminal underworld. The film is set to be released on May 17, 2019. Godzilla is back in the global ring, with new challengers Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah. Original Godzilla reboot director Gareth Edwards is leaving blockbuster filmmaking for a while after Rogue One, allowing Michael Dougherty to direct the film. The film starring Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown, Bradley Whitford, Sally Hawkins, Charles Dance, Thomas Middleditch, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ken Watanabe, and Zhang Ziyi. The film is set to be released on May 31, 2019. Without breaking a sweat, Illumination Entertainment created another hugely profitable animated series with 2016's The Secret Life of Pets, a colorful look into what animals get into when you're out. The Secret Life of Pets 2 is directed by Chris Renaud, and most of the cast members will reprise their roles except for Louis C.K., who will be replaced by Patton Oswalt. Additional cast members include Tiffany Haddish, Nick Kroll, Pete Holmes, and Harrison Ford. The film is set to be released on June 7, 2019. Just about everyone agrees Toy Story 3 ended the trilogy on a perfect note. So Pixar must have a good reason to come back and risk poisoning the well, especially since they've been releasing occasional Toy Story shorts. Toy Story 4 will be focusing on the love story between Woody and Bo Peep and showing Woody and Buzz teaming up to find a missing Bo. The film is directed by Josh Cooley and is set to be released on June 21, 2019. What's more terrifying than being 47 meters below sea level? Being just that little bit deeper. The sequel to 2017 survival horror film 47 Meters Down follows a group of adventurous backpackers who go diving to explore an underwater city and things get worse. 47 Meters Down, the next chapter is set to be released on June 28, 2019. The third installment of Annabelle franchise is coming next year. Screenwriter Gary Dauberman, who wrote both of the previous Annabelle movies and last year's horror hit It, will be making his directorial debut. The film is set to be released on July 3, 2019. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is set to continue his adventures in a second standalone film named Spider-Man: Far From Home in 2019. This movie itself is essentially a spoiler for Avengers 4, though that didn't make Peter Parker's final scenes in Infinity War any less moving. In this film, Spider-Man will face off against Mysterio, the new to the big screen villain played by Jake Gyllenhaal. John Watts returns to direct the film and it is set to be released on July 5, 2019. Stephen King fans who saw 2017's It were quick to point out that the film only tells half of the original novel's story, namely the half that takes place when the characters are still kids. This follow-up takes place 30 years later with a grown-up cast that includes Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, Bill Hader, Jay Ryan, Andy Bean, and James Ransone, and they're out to take down Pennywise the shape-shifting evil clown. It, Chapter 2 is set to be released on September 6, 2019. 2016's The Angry Birds movie did about as good a job as one could expect, to turn a mobile video game with no narrative premise into a feature-length family film. With its instant brand recognition and a voice cast that includes Peter Dinklage, Rachel Bloom, and Bill Hader, I hope the sequel performs as good as the first part at the box office. Angry Birds 2 is set to be released on September 20, 2019. It will have taken exactly 10 years, but Sony is finally giving fans a sequel to the 2009 hit horror comedy, Zombieland. All of the original cast and crew are on board, including Venom director Ruben Fleischer and writers Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, and the four key leads, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin. According to early reports, the movie will see the foursome taking on zombies that have evolved since the events of the first movie. Zombieland 2 is set to be released on October 2019. The exact date is unknown at this time. Wonder Woman is the DCEU's highest-grossing film to date in the US, so it makes sense that Warner Bros. Quickly ordered a sequel which is known as Wonder Woman 1984. Patty Jenkins is back to direct the film. The action is set during the Cold War in the 80s and finds Chris Pine reappearing as Wonder Woman's love interest Steve Trevor, despite his apparent death in the first film. The film will also feature Kristen Wiig as the central villain Cheetah. So, look forward to more action, fun, romance, and rivalries. The film is set to be released on November 1, 2019. Deadpool director Tim Miller takes the reins of the iconic Terminator franchise with a sixth installment reboot that starts where the first two films in the series left off. With James Cameron on board as producer and both Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger returning, the effort feels legit even if it will reportedly see Sarah Connor pass the torch to a new female lead to help the franchise tell new stories in the future. Terminator 6 is set to be released on November 22, 2019.
I'll be back.
A sequel to the 2013's grand hit movie Frozen is also coming next year, and I can guarantee that it will feature at least one catchy song like Let It Go. The sequel will further explore the relationship between Idina Menzel's Elsa and Kristen Bell's Anna, both of whom showed that they know how to do compelling voiceover work in the first movie. They're reportedly being joined by Evan Rachel Wood and Sterling K. Brown in unspecified roles. While there is no specific news about the plot yet, Frozen 2 is sure to warm your cold heart. The film is set to be released on November 27, 2019. A sequel to 2017 smash hit Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle is coming next year. Screenwriter Scott Rosenberg is attached with the four leads Karen Gillan, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Dwayne Johnson. The plot is unknown at this moment and the film is set to be released on December 13, 2019. The final installment, also known as Episode 9 of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, is coming next year. The Force Awakens J.J. Abrams returning to write and direct the trilogy finale. Episode 9 will provide a resolution to the Skywalker saga while setting up a future of standalone movies and spin-offs, meaning that while we're undoubtedly in for the final appearances of some classic characters, This chapter will also serve as a launching pad for years of the franchise's future. Star Wars, Episode 9 is set to be released on December 20, 2019. So these are the most anticipated sequels of 2019. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like. Tell me in comment which film among these are you looking forward to seeing the most, and most importantly, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on next video.